The craziest king, George IV. To many, he's considered England's worst king. But we're not here to judge his political and geostrategic choices. We're here to judge his sexual perseverance. If you don't have sex with me, I'll kill myself! Don't worry, he was not a sex offender, but he did have his ways of convincing women to lie with him. I'm gonna jam, Suzanne! Look! Come here. If this didn't work, you'd either cry compulsively or you'd throw money at them. Are you horny now?
George, I told you I don't wanna have sex with you.
What? Matilda, I'm gonna jump! Although it may not seem like it, these methods work. Despite not being a catch and growing as fat as a tear truck, he still managed to convince each of his partners to send him a lock of hair. When he died, his brothers found 7,000 envelopes with enough hair to stuff a sofa. The disturbing part was that the hair wasn't always from his mistress's heads. Louis II, also known as the Mad King Ludwig, was the King of Bavaria from 1864 to 1886. His strange behaviors would start right when he got out of bed, at night. He was a night owl and you'd prefer to sleep during the day. Then, when it was time for dinner, you'd eat strictly outside regardless of the weather. But this scenario would not be complete without dressing him as a historical figure. He was not just a big fan of cosplay, his love for fairy tales also took a large part of his life.
This is what I was looking for!
Louis II was now the biggest fan of castles in all of Europe. Although he already owned a bunch of them, Louis thought it wasn't enough. So he ended up building 3 more castles, one of which being the most famous and beautiful castle in the world, the same one that later inspired the creation of the Sleeping Beauty castle. You'd surely be the happiest man alive if you knew that his obsession with fairy tales inspired the greatest fairy tale icon of all! But he's not, he drowned in a lake. Charles VI was made King of France at just 11 years old and was known as the Charles the Well-Loved. However, it quickly shifted to Charles the Mad as he entered in his 20s. He started having mental breakdowns that would make him extremely aggressive, resulting in the death of some.
Who's the one that led our army to such a glorious victory?
Joan of Arc, my king.
Joan of Arc. I like that.
Joan, sir. She's a woman. Fortunately, not all outbursts were this bad. The most reasonable ones would make him run around the palace thinking he was a wolf. Then it came the glass delusion. This was a psychiatric disorder recorded in Europe from the 15th to the 17th century. Simply put, people thought to be made of glass, and guess who was one of the first to suffer from this condition?
Nobody touch me!
Charles would stay completely still for hours in fear of shuddering just from moving.
What?
Oh shit!